Everybody's heard the saying, water is life, el agua es vida. This is our life. This is our water source for our village, for our community, for our homes.
It is of vital importance to have clean waters in the rivers and streams of northern New Mexico. Without it, we don't have a product to sell.
We want to ensure that these waters are protected from threats as various as overdevelopment, overuse, to climate change. We have to be proactive about that protection.
The best water that we have in the country can be protected under what's called an outstanding waters designation, which keeps the water quality high and protects that resource.
If we're all going to live here and work here and enjoy this beautiful outdoors, we have to do much more to preserve those natural resources.
Come here, baby. Come on. Come on.
We're stewards of the land.
Man's best friend.
We come from a native mother and a Spanish father, so we have those long, strong ties to the land. We need to help those who can't speak, which is our wildlife, our plant life, which our water touches. My name is Ralph Vigil. I live here in East Pecos, New Mexico, a little community along the Pecos River. This land that we're on right here was passed down by my great-great-great-great-grandfather, who was the first territorial governor of New Mexico. So we're going up to the acequia. So the acequia sits right up here on this ridge. The acequias in New Mexico are an irrigation ditch, a canal, which we use to divert water from the river over into our crop fields. As long as I have 6 inches of water, I can still get water out of this acequia. So I'll throw it in there. They're basically extensions of the river, so it's really important that we keep our acequias flowing with water so that people can irrigate the crops. It's one of those volunteers that just grew and grew by himself. It brings life to the desert. Clean water is essential. Without clean water, our kids face challenges. And working together with different groups to help ensure these protections can help that against further degradation from large commercial uses.
Any development that happens in this state, water comes from agriculture. So there's a lot of threats for taking this water. My name is Janice Varela. I'm a county commissioner for San Miguel County. We're pretty much at the headwaters of the Pecos up here. I've seen downstream users that have gone without water. Their water levels are dropping in wells. Before my time, there was a mine called a Terrero mine back in the 30s. There's no trace of it now except for the mine waste, the big piles of mine waste. This mine has been just sitting there and polluting our river for decades. Okay, if we can get this river designated as an outstanding national resource water, that would offer us protection from degradation from any of these polluting industries that may want to come into the area. They would have additional scrutiny to go through. They'd have to go through the Water Quality Control Commission and have a higher rigor of oversight.
New Mexico's water resources are not just important for the people and families who live here today, but given climate change, the stresses on waters that are in the west and southwest, we're going to do everything we can to preserve the current water in the state. I'm Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham, Governor of the state of New Mexico. The New Mexico outdoor economy is one of the strongest in the country.
Forward 2 strokes together.
Any kind of outdoor recreation, from whitewater rapid rafting to incredible world-class fly fishing and outdoor sports and activities of every single kind is available in this state, in every region of the state. It's got a $2.5 billion footprint in our state with $1.2 billion in payroll, more than 33,000 jobs. And it's the kind of industry that lends itself, frankly, to conservation.
For every dollar spent at my company, you can multiply that by at least 7 times with other businesses around that we support. It really is a spider web of connection and opportunity for the entire community.
There's also a state-led petition that's focusing on the recreational significance of 3 waters in particular: the Upper Rio Grande, the headwaters of the Jemez, and the Rio Hondo. It's about protecting these rivers' water quality and recognizing their outstanding recreational significance because of how important it is to the anglers out here now, to the hikers, to the stand-up paddleboards who rely on its clean waters. Recognizing that value that is immeasurable to New Mexicans when it comes to having clean water and access to these beautiful wild places.
The great thing about outstanding waters protections is it's applicable all over the country. Our kind of efforts up here in Colorado are very much a sister project to what's happening down in New Mexico, and that could happen all over the country. Here in Durango, we have trails like this, great access to the river for fishing, swimming, all the things we love it for. My name is Marcel Gastambide, and I'm a hydrogeologist. As regions like ours in the Four Corners or here in Durango start to grow and we see more people move here, there's only so much room. And so part of the development does push into our forests. And what's great about outstanding waters is it doesn't stop development, but if development does take place in those protected watersheds, it needs to be done in such a way that it keeps the water quality high.
It's actually one of the reasons I moved to Durango, is because you have a beautiful river running right through the town.
San Juan Citizens Alliance, more than a decade ago now, was part of an effort to secure outstanding water protections on Hermosa Creek. Essentially established a baseline of really high water quality with the goal of keeping it at that high quality in the long term, while also providing for any uses that exist in the watershed to go forward. So that includes fishing, hunting, hiking and camping. There are ranchers that manage cattle on that landscape. And there's a ski resort further upstream. And basically all those interests work together to keep the river protected.
In 2006, we got people to come together to agree that that should be outstanding waters. You know, it was the first one in Colorado that was outstanding waters outside of a national park or a wilderness area. This action demonstrated that people in the area could work together around something, because water quantity and quality are contentious issues in this part of the country. The advice I would give to folks in New Mexico is to try to get everybody who's involved in a stretch of water that you're working on to the table, and have the patience to take the time to talk to them long enough.
It's been a big endeavor working with strange bedfellows, being that we used to fight a lot of pushback between traditional communities and environmental communities over protections. Now we're working together, hopefully proving that the good food that comes out of this is reason enough for other farms to jump on and start protecting waters within their areas. We were always taught to leave it better than you found it, and that's my goal, is to leave it better than I found it.